We live in an age of noise. Every second, voices compete for our attention. Arguments on screens, gossip in hallways, the endless buzzing of devices. The world screams at us, and most of us scream back. But the ones who rise above, the disciplined, know that silence is not emptiness. Silence is not weakness. Silence is mastery. The discipline of silence is the art of choosing strength when the world expects reaction. Welcome to the discipline theory. Where others seek hacks, we build habits. Where comfort is king, we crown discipline. And today, we explore the forgotten strength that separates the wise from the impulsive, the discipline of silence. Throughout history, the most disciplined men and women have understood the power of silence. The Spartans were trained to speak little and act much. A Spartan boy who spoke too many words was seen as weak. A Spartan man could conquer with his sword, but he could also conquer with his silence. The Stoics taught that silence was a shield, that every word you release reveals your thoughts, your weaknesses, your emotions. The man who speaks less loses less. And in monasteries across the world, monks took vows of silence not to escape life, but to engage with it more deeply. By refusing to fill the air with unnecessary words, they confronted the voice within, the loudest one of all. They knew what we must remember: speech is silver, but silence is discipline. Most people believe power is shown in speaking, convincing, debating, dominating a conversation. But silence is the greater power. When you remain silent, you control two things most people can't: your tongue. You don't give away secrets, weakness, or wasted energy. Your emotions. You don't let anger or pride command you into speaking words you'll regret. Think of the strongest men in history: leaders, generals, thinkers. They didn't waste words. When they spoke, silence had already prepared the ground. Their words landed like stone. Remember this: the more disciplined you are with silence, the more impact your words will carry. Silence is not passive, it is training. To sit in silence is to train the restless mind. To walk in silence is to sharpen your awareness. To work in silence is to build indestructible focus. In silence, distractions lose their power. In silence, you begin to notice the subtle details, the rhythm of your breath, the weight of your steps, the chaos of your own thoughts. And only when you notice these things can you begin to master them. Silence is the forge where discipline is hardened. The modern world has convinced us that the loudest wins, the loudest influencer gets the followers, the loudest politician gets the votes. The loudest person in the room is mistaken for the strongest, but the disciplined man knows noise fades, presence lasts. Noise is cheap, presence is rare, and presence is born in silence. When you stop contributing to the world's endless noise, you set yourself apart. You become the one people lean toward, the one they wait for. Because when you finally break silence, your words matter. Imagine this: someone insults you. Instead of spitting words back, you remain silent. You leave them fighting with their own echo. A pointless argument begins. Instead of wasting your energy, you walk away. A flood of noise fills your social media, but instead of joining in, you observe, detached and disciplined. That is not cowardice, that is strength. Because silence is not the absence of action. Silence is action. It's the decision not to give away your energy to what doesn't deserve it. The undisciplined speak to prove themselves. The disciplined remain silent because they know they already are. Imagine this: someone insults you. Instead of spitting words back, you remain silent. You leave them fighting with their own echo. A pointless argument begins. Instead of wasting your energy, you walk away. A flood of noise fills your social media, But instead of joining in, you observe, detached and disciplined. That is not cowardice, that is strength. Because silence is not the absence of action. Silence is action. It's the decision not to give away your energy to what doesn't deserve it. The undisciplined speak to prove themselves. The disciplined remain silent because they know they already are. Silence is not easy. It's not comfortable. That's why it is discipline. Spend just 1 hour in silence today. No music, no phone, no words, just you and your mind. At first, you will squirm. You will feel restless because silence does something terrifying. It introduces you to yourself. You will hear thoughts you've been running from. You will feel emotions you've been burying. You will see the truth you've been avoiding. That's why most people can't do it. But those who endure silence conquer themselves. And a man who conquers himself is a man the world cannot defeat. Silence is not just about holding the tongue. It is about opening the eyes. The man of silence sees details the noisy man never notices. The shift in a person's posture before they speak. The tremor in a voice that reveals doubt. The silence between words where the truth hides. When you are silent, you are not empty. You are watching. You are reading the battlefield of life in ways the noisy never can. In war, the greatest scouts were silent. In life, the greatest minds are silent. Because silence is the mother of observation, and observation is the seed of wisdom. To speak is to reveal. To remain silent is to conceal. Every word you give away is information. It reveals your emotions, your fears, your intentions. That is why the disciplined warrior uses silence as a weapon. When you do not react, the enemy grows uncertain. When you do not explain, others reveal themselves. When you do not argue, the opponent argues with his own doubts. This is not passivity. This is chess. The loud man plays checkers, fast, reckless, and predictable. The silent man plays chess, slow, patient, and deadly. Remember this. The disciplined use silence as their first strike. Beyond control, beyond strategy, silence has always been a path to something higher. The monk in silence is not escaping the world. He is stepping deeper into it. The silence of meditation is not void. It is fullness. The silence of prayer is not weakness. It is connection. When the mind is stripped of noise, something greater can be heard. Call it God. Call it truth. Call it clarity. But it only comes to those who are willing to sit in silence long enough to receive it. Modern men fear silence because they fear themselves. But those who embrace it transcend themselves. So where do you begin? Start small. A moment of silence in the morning before the world intrudes. A silent walk without headphones where nature speaks louder than your playlist. A silent meal where you taste food instead of swallowing distraction. Let silence return to your life not as an absence, but as a practice. Because silence is not just about closing your mouth. It is about opening your mind. And the man who opens his mind in silence commands his life in noise. This is the discipline of silence, the art of holding your tongue, so your words strike with precision, the strength of stillness in a world addicted to noise, the weapon of warriors, the wisdom of philosophers, the practice of monks. The undisciplined will keep talking. They will keep shouting, arguing, explaining. But you will choose silence. And when you finally decide to speak, your voice will cut through the noise like a blade. If this message spoke to you, if it echoed somewhere deep inside you, then don't let it fade into the noise. Claim it, build it, live it. Subscribe now and step into this path with me. Because here at the Discipline Theory, We don't chase comfort. We train discipline. Like this video if you're ready to practice silence in your own life. Comment below with one place in your day where you'll choose silence over noise. And share this with someone who fills their life with too many words. They may need this message more than you think. Turn on notifications so you don't just watch discipline once. You return week after week, sharpening your mind like a blade. You've been watching the discipline theory. The undisciplined quit here. The rest, they subscribe, they return, and they rise above the noise.